Welcome back to Grassroots Radio Colorado. This is Kris Cook, and I am sitting in studio with Cori and Andy Pate of the Party of Choice, and we're talking about how to talk to these students. I mean, we've got these students who are all up in arms, and they think that they're being controlled and they're being censored, and it's these people, these Republicans, these evil Republicans. I mean, it's a nonpartisan board, but still, that's who that's being blamed, is people like you and me. That we want to shut down their access to history. We don't want to teach them. We want to deny that slavery even existed. I mean, some of the stuff that's been coming across on my Facebook page is just ridiculous. It's amazing. No more ridiculous than what you just relayed. Abraham Lincoln owned slaves. That is a new one on me. I have never, ever heard anybody assert that before. But so help me out here, Andy. I mean, where do I go from here? Okay, let's first talk about instilling patriotism back into kids. Well, it can't be done. It can't be done. Sure it can. We're not teaching it right. You can't. Right now you've got young generations who are completely unpatriotic. Okay, they don't believe in what America was built like. And so we're coming in and immediately trying to change curriculum that will teach them that. All they hear then is control. They hear that we're trying to bring control, so we're fighting control with control. We're not, but that's how they're hearing it. Okay. All right. Here's what you say to a young person. First of all, I like to just say, why do you like living in America? What do you love about this place? And you'll hear a lot of things. Okay. Sometimes they hate America. Sometimes they'll say, well, I like that I can do what I want. I like that I can. And you'll hear various things. And then I say, here's what I think's great about America. America is the land of controlling your own life, not the lives of others. I like that. Exactly. This is what's great about, and I always tell them, real quick history lesson. For thousands of years, all the countries were set up the same way. You'd have warring factions either within the country or coming from outside the country. And whoever won, whoever took over, would tell everybody else how to live their lives and control their lives. But the founding fathers, when they could have been princes and kings too, but they instead decided, we believe in self-government. We want to control our own lives, not yours. We want you to govern yourself. And so the only laws we're going to put in place are just to keep one person's choice from taking away another person's choice. But we want you to have the freedom to live your life as you see fit. We only want laws in place to keep your choices from taking away other people's choices. And that's where we talk about, like theft. If you steal something, then your choice takes away their choice what to do with their money. If you kill, your choice takes away their choice what to do with their life, and so forth. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason for laws. So I tell them, isn't it great? That's what's great about America. I want to control my own life, not yours. That's what the founding fathers set up. Now, their first response, of course, is what about slavery? It's always that. It's going to be about slavery, or it's going to be, but you want to control whether or not whether or not I become a breeding factory. It's always going to go back to the abortion thing. That's, sure. That's where I always seem to get it. Sure. And what I tell them is this. I say, and what I say first, if they jump right to the women's issue, I say, look, I love the reason you're pro-choice. I'm pro-life, but I love why you're pro-choice. You're pro-choice because you don't want the government telling a woman what she can do with her body. I agree. Right. I just don't want one choice to take away another, and we may disagree on whether there's another person there. But let's look at slavery. This is super simple. For thousands of years, once again, all kinds of people had been enslaving and owning all kinds of other people throughout human history without anything getting in the way of that, or hardly anything getting in the way of it. And then along come the founding fathers. They weren't perfect, but they had a great idea. All men are created equal. I want to control my own life, not yours. And they write the Constitution based on all that. Mm-hmm. And by the way, the Constitution is written about what the government won't do to us. Yes. Very much is. Exactly. Isn't that what an incredible difference? And so I say, and yet, so they write that stuff down. And after all these thousands of years, in only less than a century, a blink of an eye historically, slavery gone. Wow. Yeah. Imagine that. After all these thousands of years, these guys come along with one idea. They put it in place, and less than a century later, they get rid of slavery. God bless America. Yeah. Now, when I tell young people this stuff, see, I'm not saying I'm a constitutional conservative. They don't get that, okay? I'm telling them I want to control my own life, not yours. And by the way, that's what the founding fathers believed. Right. Let me tell you how that's different from how other countries have been set up. It only takes a couple of minutes. And young people then, they hear that and they're like, well, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Actually, I like that about America. Yeah, so do I. Isn't that great?
And that's they actually don't push back on that. They actually adopt it.
They do. And now they have some reason for a patriotic feeling. Okay, now you've taken down the wall. They don't hate you as much. You're not trying to control their lives. Right. Now you can start changing their views on things like education. The first thing I would do then is look at them and do it once again. I want to do what the Founding Fathers did. I don't want to tell them what I'm going to do in the new job now that I run the school board. I'm going to tell them stuff I don't want to do. I'm going to tell them what I won't do to you, right, not what I will do for you. So first thing I'm going to say, I'm going to put down control. I'm going to say, I don't want my views on sex, taught to your kids. I don't want my opinions on history, my slant on science, my opinions on politics, my opinions on climate change, taught to your kids in a setting that parents can't choose. I don't want to do all that with your kids. I don't want to.
Right.
And you know why? Because schools are there to help your kids learn to succeed. And none of those things will help them succeed. But here's my question. Must we let the other side teach all those things? Because those don't help them succeed either. So instead of pushing control, push for a lot of what your previous guest was saying. Push for the balance.
Right.
And that'll work a lot better.
Well, and that continues to go back to that choice, giving them both perspectives, giving them an opportunity and the skills to employ in order to choose for themselves which perspective rings true with them. Isn't that right?
Right. And this is how you start to change the needle or move the needle and change public opinion on things like school choice. Because this is where you can start the conversation to get people thinking that way. Because the way that we view school choice in too many of our communities is that it's against the teachers.
Right.
Which we're not against teachers at all. We love our teachers, especially the really hardworking ones who we all have one in our history that we know and love.
At least one.
At least one. And so by starting that conversation about school choice, then you can start talking about, look, different kids have different learning styles. Different kids need different types of learning situations, so that they can become successful as individuals. So why are we forcing all of the students to go through one system one way when we could be opening up a whole plethora of ideas and allowing parents choose which setting is best for their kids, and even better yet, letting those tax dollars follow those kids?
That's a great concept.
Yeah, I mean, and with the kid themselves, I'm going to say, look, in other words, don't approach them being anti the teacher's agenda. Be pro the kid's success. So I say all the things I don't want to do. First, I get them excited about America. Then I say all the things I don't want to do. And then I say, tell me this. What would help you succeed in life that could be taught to you in this school? What things can you learn here at this school that'll help you succeed in life? Get a job, get ahead, have a successful life, become a writer, create things that other people haven't created before. Talk about their success, their potential, their future. Don't talk about the agenda that somebody is imposing on them and how you're going to stop it. You don't have to. If you talk about their success and their future, and then you say, now, how can the schools help you get there? They're not going to list any of the agenda, the leftist agenda that's being pushed on them.
That's right.
You are guiding them to come your way without having to be the person shaking your finger at the people they've grown to know and love because they teach them every day.
Right. That's subversive, Andy. That's a very subversive way of getting through to these kids.
Well, I was raised as a leftist. I am very subversive.
I mean, what a fabulous thing. I mean, I never looked at it from that perspective before. Of course, they love their teachers, and we are attacking the establishment. They equate the establishment with the teachers, so of course they're going to turn us off, right?
Exactly. And, when you talk to the kids about their dreams, they all have dreams. They all have big goals. And then you show them how, look, this is how we're going to help you reach those goals. You don't even have to talk about everything you're not going to do.
Right.
And that's actually one huge reason that my parents pulled us out of school and decided to homeschool us, because they were seeing us falling behind in certain areas and then being held behind in other areas.
Right.
And so they're like, we want what we feel is best for you and how you can best reach your goals. And so that's why we're going to take you out of the traditional school system, bring you at home, catch you up where you need to be caught up, and help you excel on the areas where you're great. And then we'll help you build a great education to go wherever you want.
Have that real personal, obviously.
It's completely tailored.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, it is.
Well, it is just, this is the problem that I have with schools as they're set up today in general. And I'm not referencing any specific school district or anything like that. But I think the model that they want to use at this point is a factory model. And they've got a certain way that they want to put everything through. I think that's what's driving Common Core. And at its back, and I'm actually going to have a Common Core expert on tomorrow. We're doing a whole education week. Nice. It sort of turned out that way. We have a Common Core expert on tomorrow, and I want to explore this with her a little bit because this is about turning out exactly the same product over and over and over and over again like you do at the iPhone factory. And that means no choice, right?
Yeah. I mean, do you have a common kid? Is your kid like every other kid?
Right.
I mean, how do you discipline your child? Everybody has a different way. What do you want them to watch on TV? Everybody has a different answer. What are your beliefs in the family? Everybody has a different answer. Look, you don't have a common kid. We don't want a common core. Directing. Think about that. That's control. That's pure control.
Absolutely.
They want to control. Wouldn't it be better to have 50 states all doing things, trying things their own way, being different incubators of how to do things, and coming up with the best ways, and then they could learn from one another, if they choose to.
Right.
If they choose to try what Rhode Island did or what, Nevada did. Wouldn't that be great? Instead of having one Common Core put out so that Washington can dictate what your kid is like and how your kid will learn. It's not going to work. And kids don't like it. They don't want to be controlled.
They don't want to be controlled. And you're right. They're not all the same. So trying to tell them that they have to learn all the exact same things, and the teachers don't have the flexibility required in order to get these kids where they need to go.
Exactly.
I mean, that's cookie cutter kids, not exactly a positive thing.
No.
Not exactly a positive thing. So when we come back, we'll continue exploring this theme of choice, especially choice in education. Welcome back to Grassroots Radio Colorado. This is Kris Cook, and I have Cori and Andy Pate of the Party of Choice teaching me how to message in studio today. You're trying. I am a very, very poor student when it comes to this stuff, and even more so because I'm used to going on a rant. I mean, it's why they gave me the microphone is because I'm used to going on a rant. I'm used to being, I'm not terribly offensive, but
Rants can be good.
Rants are fun.
I like rants. I'm pro-rant.
You're pro-rant.
And I vote.
We need to make bumper stickers that say that.
Actually, that would be pretty funny.
That would be pretty funny. There would be about 4 people in the world who would get it, but, I'd go for that. So you guys have done a commercial talking about education and talking about specifically choice in education.
Exactly. Because what we have seen so often is we all fight and fight and fight over education and who should be taught what and how and when and why and all of that. And so what we've done is taken this whole fight and reframed it.
I love that. So let's listen to the ad.
Well,
what?
And one last thing. One last thing on the ad. This entire situation that's happening in Jeffco is indicative of what happens because we're all fighting. Both sides are fighting. Whoever gets in control, the other side is angry.
Right.
So when you listen to the ad, think of that.
Don't you hate all the battles over education? What to teach, how to teach, it never ends. That's because we're all stuck in one box. So whoever wins these battles sets the rules for everyone else. There's too much at stake. Here's an idea. Remove the box with choice. Set parents free to select what's best for their kids. That way there's more peace, and parents get excited because they see options instead of walls. Why fight in a box? Support school choice.
Okay, the giggle is very cute.
It makes me laugh every time.
That's Cori's voice, by the way, folks. By the way, that's how we met. Yeah, we were at a party, and I told her, I'm a director. You have potential. Would you like a private audition? Guys, I recommend, if you want to pick up girls, I recommend that you do this. Always tell them you're a director. It works even better if you wear one of those oversized director's hats and have a megaphone.
Yeah.
She fell for it right away.
Your credibility just went out the window,
She
Andy.
fell for it.
Yeah, we're going to get a lot of hate mail for that.
Okay, never mind.
Pretty much. So. What a concept, though, a choice in education. If folks had the choice, well, you know what? If you want to have a school that has a liberally focused, a progressively focused agenda, and progressively focused curriculum, why not?
By all means, go for it. If you want to have a constitutionally based education that is classical and focuses on the founding fathers, well, then we should be allowed to do that too.
Exactly.
Yeah, the big problem is we're all stuck in one box.
Right.
As long as we're stuck in a box, we're at each other's throats. Take away the box, let people choose. What if everybody had to go to the same fast food restaurant? And everybody would vote on which one it would be, and you were stuck with what the majority took. How would you feel? Look, that's what schools are.
Right.
That's what schools are. We're only at each other's throats in Jeffco because they're stuck in one box. They can't separate out and go to their separate corners and choose what they all want.
Right. Well, and it's just, I mean, that concept has been so fought against by the left, by the unions, particularly by the unions, because it does introduce, I mean, this is the part we're not focusing on. This is where the messaging comes in, folks, and why I'm so bad at it, because what we're talking about is competition.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, that's the bottom line, is we're talking about competition. I always lead with that. Mm-hmm. Not the best foot to lead with is what I'm getting.
Well, I find it especially ironic because when I did work in the schools, I heard teachers complain about their coworkers who were lazy all the time. I am not kidding you. So there were some teachers who were just basically glorified babysitters.
Great.
And the teachers who were good and who were working hard, they really resented that. But my goodness,
as they should.
Talk about pay for merit. Oh, they don't want to talk about that.
Even the ones who were complaining.
Yes, I don't understand it.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does a little bit, folks, because they are worried about, even liberals fear government. They're worried about who would be measuring them. And they don't trust the standards that would be put. Will it be biased? Will the person? It's just like in any business. Will the boss, give better reviews to people that he golfs with and stuff like this? It happens everywhere. And it happens in education as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's what they're worried. I often think
that's not their big worry.
What's their big worry?
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. If school choice were legalized, if we went to a voucher system or tax vouchers or whatever nationwide tomorrow, tens of thousands of teachers would be out of business.
Okay.
In the next week, and here's why: it's simple market. The market's half left wing, half right wing. 90% of the teachers are left wing. That means 40% of the teachers are gone because you have simply far too many of one kind of teacher for the market.
That's a great point. I hadn't really thought. I mean, I've talked about it as competition for a long time, but I hadn't really thought of it in those terms.
Trust me, they know it.
Okay.
And that's the number one reason why liberal teachers do not want school choice. They want a captive audience with captive tax dollars. And no competition.
And the ability to teach their agenda.
And the ability to teach their agenda without losing their job because, oh my gosh, so many would lose their jobs.
Well, I mean, and there would be a huge new job market for conservative teachers. That'd be kind of fun.
Well, there would be. And,
yes.
I wanted to be a teacher from the time I walked into my kindergarten class. And I decided not to do it after working in Denver Public Schools for 6 years because I saw how teaching wasn't about learning. It was about checking off boxes, getting the kids to spit out the right answers on their tests. It was about red tape and jumping through hoops. And the kids were lost in the process. And I couldn't do it.
That's so wrong. Well, and it's just, I keep saying this. I've said this so much over the course of the past week. The education system is not set up for the kids.
No.
It's set up for the adults. That's the only focus. That's the only reason. And all of the money decisions, all of the quote-unquote curriculum decisions, every single bit of it is geared towards the grown-ups, it
Absolutely.
seems.
And actually, that's kind of an okay talking point. On the train in the morning when I go into work, because I work downtown, there are a couple of ladies who I always sit with, and they're very friendly, but they are quite liberal. So we don't really talk politics at all. But today, education came up.
Okay.
And one of the ladies works for one of the universities downtown. And as we were talking about money. And I said, well, I really don't feel like money is the answer when it comes to schools. And I expected raised eyebrows. And they agreed 100%.
Really?
Yes. They did, and they looked at me, they're like, absolutely, and they said it's also where the money's going. It's going to the administrators. It's so top-heavy, it's not getting to the kids.
I'm about ready to fall out of my chair.
I almost fell off the bench seat on the train, actually.
No kidding. Okay, and this proves a point for me because I make assumptions about where folks are coming from, and I don't ask the question to find out. I never do.
Yeah, and it was just a totally random thing that popped up this morning while we were chatting, and they are totally 100% in agreement with my viewpoints on funding for education.
So now you have a starting point.
Exactly.
Now you have a starting point, a point of agreement, like you guys have been telling me for the past 2 months. I learn slowly. I do.
That's okay.
You find that point of agreement, and then now you see them every morning. You ride the train in with them.
And we don't hardly ever talk politics. All we ever talk about is how's your week, how's your day, how was your vacation.
Right.
You know, we've built that that relationship, and now I'm starting to see some of these topics coming up.
That's very, very cool.
Mm-hmm. So it really does work. We're not making this up.
I know it does. I mean, what you guys are talking about, at bottom line, what you guys are talking about is empathic communication.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And having that, okay, maybe not empathic. Is it empathetic?
No,
not sure. It's
either.
6:42 in the evening. I'm having a little trouble trying to.
I know what you mean.
Speaking English, you know what I mean.
Empathic, sense their emotions.
I'm thinking of Deanna Troi on The Next Generation, not where I wanted to go. Empathetic communication, where you're having an amount of empathy for the person you're trying to communicate with, so that you can stand in their shoes, you can stand in their head, basically, and understand where they're coming from. Is that accurate?
It's absolutely accurate,
Good.
and you can't do it until you ask them. And by the way, we talk choice control. No one's ever controlled somebody by listening to them. And so when you ask them, this is why I always say, structure the question in potential, not in stopping the agenda of the left, but in the potential of the kid. What would you like to see happen in education? What would equip you to succeed in this world that you have to go into? One thing that really bothers me, by the way, with lack of competition is we have teachers who are in a completely non-competitive situation, who don't compete, training generations to go into the competitive marketplace.
Well, they're trying to eliminate the competitive marketplace.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, but what I do is I just tell them basically once again, I want to control my own life, not yours. Hey, get them patriotic by telling them why America's so great. Mm-hmm. It's where you control your own life, not others. And that'll even tell why slavery went away. And then just say, these are the things I don't want. All my opinions crammed down your kid's throat. I don't want that, because that doesn't help them succeed. And neither does it when it comes from the left, either side. Right. What I want to know is what would help them succeed. And let's all work together to get them that. And they get excited.
I love that.
And it makes us the good guys.
Yes.
And it makes us the good guys, which is a position we don't get to be in very often. So when we come back, we'll explore this a little more. I've got some questions formulating in my head that I'm hoping will make sense by the time we get out of break.